The Trinity is such a mystery. It's really, really hard to define. I've heard it in so many different ways, whether you talk about water and ice and vapor, or I've heard it described as pieces of a hamburger. You have the lettuce and the tomatoes and the meat inside and the buns. I've heard it described as Father and Son and the love between them. But I think the Trinity is such a mystery outside of human knowledge. It would be hard to define in just one box. It would be hard to say, hey, it's sort of like this, and then make that analogy, because all analogies for the mystery of the Trinity are going to fall apart. But I do know the only thing I can say about the Trinity really is that without a Trinitarian God, it would be really, really difficult for Christianity as it is, or even the idea and concept of love, to have a proper place to exist. A Trinitarian God tells us that God was able to love before humanity came into existence, that there was an eternal love between God, within God, in this perfect dance. And you've probably heard it before, but it takes two to love, and therefore you have the Father, and you have the Son, and you have the Spirit coexisting. I try to think of the Trinity like this. If you pull apart one part of the Trinity, it won't make sense anymore. So if you take the Spirit away from the Trinity, then you have the Father and Son, but then you don't have Spirit being able to reside within humanity and Spirit reshaping and recreating the earth. If you take the Son away, then you have the Father and the Spirit, but then you don't have God identifying with us as people. If you have just the Son and Spirit, then you don't have an authority figure or a king who can deal justice over the earth for sin and for evil and for injustice. So looking at the Trinity in that way, where if I pull one away from it, it doesn't make sense anymore, you have almost an incomplete God. When I see other gods and other religions, I notice that they always have that incompleteness about them, where it seems like, yeah, he's powerful in this sense, but he's just a deity in this other sense. He's limited or restricted. But with a Trinitarian God, you have perfection. You have a holiness that surpasses any other human concept. And that's why I would really hate to just box him in my limited understanding or idea of who God is. But every time I study the Trinitarian God, something else comes out where it's like, man, nobody could have made that up. That's something that people couldn't have sat down and said, hey, what do you think God looks like? I know, a Trinity. I think it's definitely something that comes alive from the pages of the Bible and shows a perfect, holy, complete God.